Okay, so for the first one, I want you to do this with me. Yep, so just have this out, everything else away. You can have your calculator. And we're going to do 3x minus 8 equals 4. I'm going to write some other things down for you. So make sure anything I write down on here, you write down with me. All right, so when you're deciding what to do first, the first thing you want to do is you want to, and then we're going to write this on the side, okay? So these are going to be like tips for solving. So the first thing you want to do is you want to add or subtract numbers on the same side of the variable. I'm going to say to move to other side. Okay, so add, subtract numbers on the same side of the variable to move to the other side. Okay, and I just want you to have in your head what that is going to be, okay? Okay, so which one is on the same side as the variable? What numbers? Good. The -8, anything else? Okay, so we're going to add the 8 to both sides. Why are we going to add instead of subtract? Yes, you want to make it a 0. Great. Something else we're going to do is we're going to put this line wherever the equal sign is, because that's what you're going to cross over. Okay? So you're going to do the +8 here, the +8 here. Now, if you pick the correct number, these should be 0. So you'd be left with 3x equals, I'll let you calculate that. So feel free to grab your calculator if you need it. Yep, grab your calculator for you. Okay, and then once you have that, so once you've added or subtracted, now you have a new equation, okay? You could have a number in front like this. So the second thing you want to do is you want to divide by the number. Can I say just the number like this? Divide by the number in front of the variable. You guys okay with that abbreviation, the number sign? Numeral, divide by the number, numeral, in front of the variable. All right, and then if I have 3x equals 12, what am I dividing by? 3. So we're going to divide both sides by 3. This is how you show division. I know some of you were writing out like the little divide sign. I want you to write it like this now, okay? Now that we're getting more steps, we're just going to tighten some of those steps up. 12 divided by 3 is 4. And you're going to box that in. Now this does say to check your answer, okay? I'm not going to make you do this for all of them, but I do want you to know when you go to a test or a quiz, all you have to do to check is plug this in for x, and that's something that we've been working on. So if you do 3 times 4 minus 8, that should equal 4. You could put all of that in your calculator at one time. 3 times 4 minus 8. Well, what is 3 times 4? 12. Is 12 minus 8 going to be 4? Yeah. So when you're checking it, you're just plugging it back in to make sure it works. Okay? All right. Now, the second one is very similar. The only difference is we're going to have some division in here. So we have b divided by 2 minus 4 equals 26. And like I said, one of the first things I want you to do is to put this line down the middle. Okay, so the equal sign divides this into two sides. And I want you to just do the first step. You don't have to do the second step. Just do the first step according to what we did on the first one. Okay, so what do we do? What do we do? Yeah, plus 4 on both sides. Good. So are we feeling pretty good about the first step? Okay. Because sometimes when there's two steps, people see the fraction, and you guys already know from last time how we're going to move that 2 over, right? Multiplication. But you're going to do that second, okay? So the first thing is to add or subtract, okay? And then in this case, we're not going to divide, so we're going to put or. So if you have multiplication, you divide, but if they're already being divided, you're going to multiply by the denominator. So this is the way that you show that. You put this in parentheses, and you put 2. If you want to put 2 times, that's great. Put this in parentheses. You can put the 2 next to it. You can put the little dot 2. Those are all acceptable. I think sometimes what we're having trouble realizing is what's really happening on this side. Like, why do these cancel out? Well, if you had 2 times b and then divided by 2, this is what happens. You are doing 2 divided by 2. What's 2 divided by 2? 1. So I could put the 1 in front of the b if I wanted to, but do I have to? No, because isn't this still just 1b? Yeah. So 30 times 2, 60. Okay? So that's just an extension of what we did last week. And then we also talked about combining like terms. That's going to be the next type, okay? So you have 5y plus 4 minus 2y equals 9. 5y plus 4 minus 2y equals 9. And then if you don't have these notes written down on the side, do that as well. I can give you more time. So this is a brand new one. We have not done this type before. And what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to move multiple things over the line yet. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to put our line here. And before we start to move things, we're going to simplify, okay? We're going to combine our like terms together. Combine like terms. Am I going too fast or is this okay? Okay, so your like terms are going to be 5y and negative 2y. And if some of you already started and you moved the 4 over, that's okay. We're just going to do that in the next step. Do you guys remember how to combine those? Yeah, you just either add or subtract. So this is 5 minus 2, so what's that going to be? 3. So it's 3y plus 4 equals 9. And then once you've done that, see how this looks just like number 1? They're very similar. Okay, so do you guys think you could finish number 3? Based on what we have there? Once you've subtracted the 4, and it looks like several of you were able to do that without me, where you subtracted the 4, so 3y equals 5. Now, your last step is to do what on both sides? Divide by 3. Now, when you do that, okay, this is where I've noticed sometimes we just need some extra help. If you do 5 divided by 3, is that a nice number? Nope, it's a decimal that goes on forever, right? If you have a decimal, okay, you are like this, a long decimal, you're going to leave it as a fraction. So I want you to write your answer as 5 divided by 3. And we're just going to write a note. Leave answer as a reduced fraction, and that is reduced, if it's not a whole number. So if you divide and you get something that's not a whole number, I want you to leave it like this. Now you might have some on your practice where they give you decimals. If they give you a decimal, then the decimals are going to be nice, not long like this one. Okay, this is the preferred way to write it. As you guys go through high school math classes, you'll see that that's going to be the most common way to write it. If it's not a whole number, it's not a whole number. All right, this is the last type we're going to do today. I want you to think about it before you do it. Okay, so do you guys have any ideas of what we want to do first for this one? Yeah, multiply what together?
The 3 that enters for negative 3.
Yes, because we have to distribute. You guys remember that? Distribute? Remember that or no? Distribute is right. So we're going to do 3 times x and 3 times negative 2. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. So just pay attention to your signs. Okay? And then once you do that, this is, sometimes people will add 6 to both sides and minus 5. Don't do that. Okay? It's not that you won't get the same answer. You will. But what's negative 6 plus 5? Negative 1, right? Because this one's negative, this one's positive. You can do that right in your calculator. And now you only have to move this over. You only have to move one number over. Okay? All right, so what am I going to move over here? Yep, how do I do it? Plus 1. So plus 1, plus 1. Again, these steps are really important. We're going to keep building off from here, so we have to make sure that we're doing that correctly. Okay, so 15 equals 3x. So I only want x, so what do I have to do to both sides? Divide. When you show division, this is what I need to see. Okay? And you can leave it as 5 equals x, or you can put on the line x equals 5. Okay, so we're going to do some practice today. Going to put you guys in some groups.